Hey guys, this is Nick. Welcome to another episode of Strange Spotting. I'm very excited to introduce, with today's video, the horror-themed part of this channel. I hope those of you who have watched my footage analysis videos won't be disappointed or confused by this. In my mind and memories, the passion for horror as a genre is inseparably connected to my attraction to everything weird and mysterious, like cryptids, UFOs, and the paranormal. It's also connected to an equivalent attraction for true crime as a genre. Somehow, I've always thought the fascination with all these distinct genres and themes are just different expressions of an underlying need to look for anything strange, hence the name of the channel. Without further ado, let's talk about an amazing film I've seen recently, The Devil's Doorway. The Devil's Doorway is a found-footage horror film by Irish director Aislinn Clarke, produced by Irish company 2310 and distributed by New York-based company IFC Films, responsible for the distribution of many extraordinary independent horror films such as Kill List, The Babadook, Backcountry, The Autopsy of Jane Doe and Pyewacket, just to name a few. The film was released in May 2018 to the US market and currently holds on Rotten Tomatoes a 70% critic score based on 27 reviews and a 45% audience score based on more than 250 ratings, while the equivalent score system on Metacritic sports a 48% based on 4 critic reviews and a 6.0 user score based on 7 ratings.
I believe in God, but doing this kind of work doesn't bring you any closer to God.
The premise of the film is that upon receiving a letter and 2 photographs of a Virgin Mary statue bleeding from its eyes, in October of 1960, a Vatican bishop appoints 2 priests, Father Thomas Riley, played by Irish actor Lalor Roddy, who also played the assassin sent to murder Bran Stark in the first season of Game of Thrones, and Father John Thornton, played by Irish actor Kieran Flynn, to visit the Magdalene Asylum in Ireland, where the miracle allegedly took place.
Look around you, John. Do you think God is here, in this place? This place disgusts me.
We learn early on in the film that Father Riley is the older, disillusioned priest who has seen many frauds during his career as miracle investigator, whereas Father Thornton is young and enthusiastic about the assignment to record the entire investigation with a 16mm camera. The protagonists are met with a very unwelcoming stance by the Mother Superior running the asylum, played by Irish actress Helena Breen.
This room is off limits, Father!
Who subjects the young women to several manners of abuse and exploits them for labor.
God in heaven. Evil is all around us, John. The devil doesn't have to hide. He roams freely amongst us.
It doesn't take long for them to realize, after witnessing several strange and possibly supernatural occurrences, that there is something very wrong with that place, and that the blood-crying Virgin Mary statue is the least of their problems. I can't help wondering if The Devil's Doorway didn't get enough attention from the general public because of its association with the found footage subgenre. I want to point out that I'm a very big fan of found footage for reasons that require an entire video to be explained, but I'm also aware that the general perception of this category of movies is that of a cheap ploy to disguise low production value and a small budget, and perhaps to capitalize on the enormous return on investment of juggernauts like the Blair Witch Project and the Paranormal Activity franchise. None of those concerns apply to The Devil's Doorway. This is one of the few motion pictures I've seen where the found footage style actually enhances the technical side of it tremendously. The choice to film the whole feature in an actual 16mm camera instead of trying to repurpose the footage only adds to the realistic, vintage feeling of the whole experience. And the lighting, the set design, and the actors' performances are enhanced by it. It's not just this, but also the director's decision to reduce the shaky camera effect to a minimum that improves the overall sense of immersion and vicarious experience. Sure, there are moments when it doesn't seem realistic for Father John to keep carrying his camera around, but I consider that a negligible factor. I think the actors were cast spectacularly. We don't get to see Kieran Flynn very much due to his role as the cameraman, but his voice work perfectly embodies the naivete and idealism of a young priest who has probably not yet been exposed to the ugly side of organized religion, and whenever he's in the frame, his presence is consistent with his voice work. The stars, though, are undeniably Lalor Roddy and Helena Berine. The first one does an incredible job of embodying both the sense of disillusionment and regret, as well as a sincere faith and desire to do good in this world, intrinsic in a character like Father Thomas, whereas the second works devilishly well in personifying the twistedness of the Catholic Church and of organized religion in general. She's a nuanced, manipulative and menacing opponent, and I really hope to see that wicked look and smirk of hers in other films as soon as possible. Of course, the stylistic choice and great acting would not be enough to make this a great movie. The director stated in an interview, "I had my son when I was 17, which was the year after the last Magdalene Laundry closed. People think these places existed a very long time ago, but it was 1997. The last one had closed in 1996. I was 17 and unmarried. I could have been in one if the circumstances had been different. Magdalene Laundries, where women were essentially worked as slave labor for the Catholic Church, were not an aberration in Irish life. Everyone knew, so you had nowhere to turn. Every person was complicit in a way, because everybody knew that they were there and what was happening. So girls could be plucked out of schools and sent to those places. That was the direct result of the Catholic Church apparatus, which created a situation where vulnerable people could be exploited for so long. What truly shines in Aislinn Clarke's directorial debut is a great capacity for tight and meaningful storytelling. At a concise 76 minutes of running time, The Devil's Doorway manages to do something that nowadays crowded religious horror subgenre seldom could. By displaying the real-life crimes of Irish Magdalene Laundries, it provides an eloquent and purposeful social criticism of the suffering invariably perpetrated whenever and wherever religious and political power are conjoined by a venomous bond. But the true achievement, in my opinion, is that this theme doesn't come off as preachy. It truly transpires organically from a cinematic experience that manages to also engulf you in a dark and oppressing and mysterious atmosphere, to keep you guessing until the very end about the true nature of the evil at play, and to provide genuine scares and fear along the way. What I like to do whenever I consume a piece of media belonging to the horror genre is to break it down in terms of the main emotional factors associated with it, which are mystery, fear, and gore. Here's my breakdown for the film under analysis. Mystery 50%, fear 50%, gore 0%. In conclusion, The Devil's Doorway is a found footage film, devoid of most common pitfalls associated with this cinematic device, which delivers through capable direction, great cinematography, accomplished acting, and concise storytelling, a chillingly captivating and atmospheric tale, while striking a rarely seen perfect balance between social criticism and horror. The only minor negative factor is the unrealism of a character that keeps filming in distressing situations, but that's to be chalked up to the found footage style itself and not to the director's abilities. For these reasons, I assign 9 out of 10 owls to The Devil's Doorway, and I consider it a hidden horror gem worthy of discovery by any horror genre devotee. The film is currently available to watch for free on Tubi, with a paid subscription on AMC Plus, and for rent on all major platforms. Have you seen this film yourself? And if so, what did you think about it? Please let me know in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed this film analysis, and if you did, it would really help Strange Spotting grow if you could hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.